Happy Tuesday morning. Tyler, we made it.
Oh, yes.
How was your weekend?
Back.
Good weekend?
It was good. It was a good weekend, yeah.
Nice extra day off. You didn't have to come in, hopefully?
Oh, beautiful. It was fantastic.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ronnie Dahl alongside Tyler Keefe, and we are in the Civic Center TV studios here in West Bloomfield, and this is the Oakland County Megacast. We have a lot of great guests for you today on the show. We had a great week last week, a lot of really interesting people to talk to. So if you missed some of those interviews, you can always check them out on civiccentertv.com. We do put the clips as well as the full Megacast up there for you to view at your leisure and on your schedule. But today we have a lot of great people to talk to. We'll be checking in with the Oakland County Works Department. Still a lot of people out of work looking for jobs. So hopefully we'll get some guidance there. We know that gyms are going to be reopening this week. So we'll check in with a couple of the local gyms as well. And then schools are open, Tyler.
Yeah, most schools will be back by sometime this week, so we'll start to see how that works out for both the schools and the educators and the teachers, and how it works out in terms of the COVID-19 numbers.
A lot of people, or a lot of schools, some are hybrid, but a lot are remote, which is really difficult for parents right now, trying to navigate getting their kids, having them do all their homework and everything that they need to do right now. Plus, we have a lot of places. How many power outages are reported? Like there's a few thousand in the area. So welcome to back to school. No power today.
Great. Once again, a joyous week here in 2020.
So, think about that, though. Most likely kids are no longer going to have snow days, right? Because you can go remote. So snow days will probably be going away, but will you have no power days?
I think that's a possibility that maybe the schools even didn't foresee in the planning of this upcoming year.
Oh, Mother Nature, I'm telling you. We're just faced with everything. But we also have a lot of news to get to for you guys, so head over to civiccentertv.com. A lot going on at the University of Michigan. The U of M Graduate Employee Organization going on strike today as classes begin on campus, citing concerns over COVID-19 safety and policing on campus. The union represents more than 1,000 graduate student instructors and graduate student assistants. The employees teach classes and do other work for the university. Strike is called for 4 days right now, but it could be extended. University officials say the state of Michigan prohibits public employees from striking at the university, and the university is preparing to continue operations, including classes, in the event that the strike does indeed take place. Another way that they are trying to get their message heard, we know that some of the professors did protest prior to school starting. U of M is one of the universities choosing to allow a hybrid model. My niece goes to U of M, so she'll have her first in-person class this week. But she said it's like a ghost town over there on campus.
Well, that's at least some good news in this. Interesting to hear that this is the reaction from the university about union workers striking on Labor Day of all days. That was very interesting for me to see in the news with this. But there are concerns, and those concerns have not been properly voiced, at least in the eyes of these employees, and so they're going to make their voices known. And in terms of in-person learning and what reaction that has in the community in terms of COVID-19, we're yet to see that because school hasn't been in session for 2 weeks or more in that incubation period. So time will tell how things go for the University of Michigan and other schools.
And meanwhile, more outbreaks have been reported at Michigan schools as well as long care facilities. 61 new outbreaks of the coronavirus reported by state health officials Monday. 3 outbreaks occurred at schools, 7 at colleges, and 15 at long-term care facilities. Coronavirus outbreaks are defined by the state as 2 or more cases with a link by place and time, suggesting a shared exposure outside of a household. State officials say the lack of the ability to conduct effective tracing, though, may result in underreporting of outbreaks. I definitely think that is going to be the case, and obviously with the Labor Day weekend, they expect this number is going to rise, although the weather wasn't great for a lot of group gatherings over the weekend. Yesterday was nice, but Saturday, Yeah, so maybe that will help keep some of the numbers down.
Yeah, hopefully people were discouraged by the weather earlier on in the weekend, and hopefully people didn't make up for that in the last couple of days when it was nice out by being reckless. And you know, as long as people kept their social distance and really were focused on on continuing the battle against the coronavirus, hopefully we won't see a similar reaction in the numbers to what we saw on Memorial Day. And we'll get through Labor Day in much better shape and continue to make the push forward like we have been doing in recent weeks in the response to COVID.
And Tyler, I will tell you, Twitter was ablaze this weekend with this next one. Big Ten football could be excluded if Big Ten comes back. U of M and Michigan State could be excluded from the next football season, according to a tweet posted by U.S. President Donald Trump. Big Ten football is looking really good, but may lose Michigan, Illinois, and Maryland because of those governors' ridiculous lack of interest or political support, Trump tweeted. The tweet comes a few days after the president said he spoke with Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren about reinstating the fall season amid the coronavirus pandemic. Since the fall football season was postponed, some parents, though, of the football players as well as the players themselves have been protesting against the decision. Some of them want to play football. Tyler, we're seeing the return of high school football. Do you think college football is going to be next?
College football could very well be next. I think the Big Ten's already having some debates, at least rumblings and debates within itself, about their decision to postpone the season, similar to what the MHSAA had. Now, both organizations suspended originally in their reports for the same reason, which was COVID-19 numbers and all the conversations that they had with their medical teams and their medical experts and consults that it was not going to be safe to have that sport be played, and maybe now with governors' restrictions being loosened and encouragement from outside organizations, they could take a similar route to the MHSAA and have a change of heart and maybe blame other organizations and officials for it.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, there are so many things at play here. Jim Harbaugh has been a huge supporter, though, of trying to get his players back on the gridiron. He says it's time to play football, so we'll have to wait and see if that does happen. I would imagine if they do allow them back on the field, it would be a situation maybe with no fans like we're seeing in professional sports as well. So a lot up in the air as the pandemic wears on. So you'll find those stories and more on civiccentertv.com, along with resources to the CDC, the state of Michigan, as well as our local communities here in the Oakland County area. And so do we want to take a quick break? Or
let's take a quick break. We'll get Jennifer Llewellyn all set and good to go, and then we'll come back.
Okay, you're listening and watching the Oakland County Megacast.
Michigan, we still need to stay careful because we don't want to go backwards, back to where we started. So keep standing 6 feet apart. Keep wearing a mask in public. And if you have symptoms, talk to a healthcare provider about getting tested. To move forward, let's all do our part. So stay careful. Michigan.gov/coronavirus.
Unemployment numbers in Michigan continue to decline, but new jobless claims remain much, much higher than pre-pandemic times. For those in the need of a paycheck, companies are hiring right now, and to help us navigate the process, Jennifer Llewellyn with the Oakland County Workforce Development joins us on the Megacast this morning. It's good to have you with us again. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be back.
Companies are hiring. If I'm looking for a job, what skills do I need right now?
Well, that's the untold story of the economic side of the pandemic is that companies are still hiring. We are actually hosting a virtual job fair on September 23rd, and we have over 50 companies with hundreds of job postings from around Oakland County available. So, skills you have to have, obviously, the critical skills like an important work ethic, being able to show up on time, being committed to work. Those are the basic things that people need, but there's a lot of technical skills that are also in high demand, technology skills, and being able to perform the essential functions of your job. So lots of great job opportunities available across Oakland County right now.
I think so many people that lost their job may feel like they have to stay in the same arena that they were working in when they lost their job. Is this a good time to make a career switch?
Yeah, it's a great time, and that's a very normal feeling. Obviously, when you're comfortable in the career that you've been successful in previously, it's easy to stay there, right? And obviously, everyone hopes that they can return to the job that they have before, but sadly, sometimes that's just not possible for individuals. So this is a great opportunity for individuals to take a step back and say, what is something else that I can use my skills to perform? Are there transferable skills that I have? If I was in maybe the hospitality industry as a waitress or a bartender, well, I have great customer service skills. Can I do something in real estate or in retail or, working for a technology company in customer service? So this is it's hard to think about sometimes in the middle of a pandemic, but this is actually a great time to take a step back and reassess what your career options are. Through Oakland County Michigan Works and through Michigan Works actually statewide, we have funding available, retraining opportunities and dollars available to help unemployed workers get back to school. We can help them look at their skill sets, look at what they want to do, and be trained in a new career or a new occupation and help them make that transition and earn a credential towards a new career.
Jennifer Llewellyn with us. She's the manager of Oakland County Workforce Development at Oakland County Michigan Works, joining us today on the Megacast. Jennifer, we've spoken recently with business owners in a variety of economic sectors, with local chambers of commerce as well, who have said that a lot of employers are looking for any potential talent that they can bring in, regardless of their previous skill sets in that general area of business. Are companies more willing than ever to bring in people that maybe don't have the exact credentials that they're looking for, but are willing more than ever now to train them to have those abilities and those skills on the job?
Yes, the companies that are really progressive and really innovative are doing a great job of building internal training programs. They see potential in individuals that say, I believe in this person. I believe they have a good work ethic. I believe they're going to show up every day. I believe they're trainable. And so they will invest, in on-the-job training for that person. So, again, it's a bit of an untold story. And sometimes people will look at a job posting and say, well, I've never done that before. Or I don't have the 2 years of experience, or I don't have the 3 years of experience. There may be things that you don't see in yourself that an employer may see in you. And so I encourage, apply for that job, look at the skills that you have. And, I commend the companies that are out there saying, I see potential in this person and I'm going to invest in training. For the businesses that are saying, well, I need a purple squirrel that wears a dress on Wednesdays to fill this job, they're going to have a more difficult time filling those spots.
So when they do fill those spots, are they paying more or offering a larger variety of benefits to try to get new employees in and retain them?
Yeah, I think, you're starting to see the wages creep up a little bit. And quite candidly, that has been a struggle over the last few years. I know I was driving just over the weekend and saw a sign on an Arby's that said, hiring up to $12 an hour. So there's there's that competitive wage market now. It's a lot about supply and demand. We are seeing the wages increase, and companies are also being increasingly innovative with, flexible hours. I was going to say remote work, but that's very real right now. But prior to the pandemic, offering career flexibility, remote work. We're seeing different leave time, paternity leave time, working conditions, just cool places to work. Companies that are maybe more traditional in the past have been just looking at new ways to better meet their employees where they're at and offer that work-life balance.
So Jennifer, what are employees primarily looking for beyond just the potential in the employees in terms of sectors of our economy? Where are the jobs right now? Is it across the board, or are there certain sectors that are more eager to bring people back than others?
Yeah, we're seeing really high demand in some of the retail space. So for example, our friends at Gardner White have many jobs available across Southeast Michigan right now. People are home, and what else do we have to do? We've got to buy some furniture and remodel. So, high demand in that home retail space. So significant number of jobs there. Our advanced manufacturing partners at our job fair on the 23rd, we've got LG and Atlas Copco, Magna, Jabil, and Auburn Hills. They're all hiring for advanced manufacturing. Oakland County is hiring. That's who I work for. We have several jobs that are available, varying positions. So, we're seeing a lot in advanced manufacturing. We're seeing a lot, again, in some of the retail spaces, some of the, home improvement retailers, more in technology. Those numbers are starting to creep up again as more of us use technology. There's been a high demand in, warehousing and transportation. So Amazon, the new Amazon facility in Pontiac, is joining us for the job fair on the 23rd. And, they have hundreds and hundreds of jobs that are going to be available as well. So, that seems to be where we're seeing the most demand. There's other niche jobs where we're also seeing increase. So sign language interpreters, truck drivers, delivery drivers. So there's some other, really specific positions that, as a part of the pandemic have increased as well.
How can an individual make themselves shine at a virtual career fair?
Oh, that's a good question. It's really important to do the preparation work. So, on our Oakland County Michigan Works website, oaklandcountymiworks.com, we've got a page on the virtual job fair that we're hosting. A list of all the companies that are participating is on there, along with links to each one of those companies. And there's a video on how to prepare yourself for a virtual job fair. So it's important to do your research before you participate. So find out what companies are going to be in attendance, do your research on them, be very intentional about which booths you visit. And make sure your technology works ahead of time. So, those are some really basic features. But like any job fair or any interview, you also have to make sure that you are prepared. So, have your 30-second elevator speech. You might be in a virtual line with 150 people. So you might only have 30 seconds to tell them who you are, what your skill set is, and how you can help their company out. So it's really, sometimes I think in the virtual space, sometimes we think, oh, it's the internet and it's going to be okay. But people have to prepare for a virtual job fair the same way that they would prepare for an in-person job fair or an in-person interview, possibly even more, because you've got the technology piece in there as well.
So how will that look? Is it going to be like a Zoom room with 150 people and then you get called on to be able to give your 30-second speech, and then will all the other candidates be listening in as well?
No, so there's booths. So each employer has their own booth, and you can almost like wait in line within your booth and then connect with that employer one-on-one. So other individuals can't hear what you're saying. So there's obviously that element of confidentiality there, but it's a really neat concept. A lot of our Michigan Works colleagues in other parts of the state piloted this and went first and had tremendous success. And so we decided let's give it a shot in Oakland County, and sold out those employer booths, just within maybe 2 weeks. So we don't have any more spaces for employers to participate. We filled every single booth, and we're still getting calls from companies saying, can I participate? So, based on the success of this, if we get some good numbers and people that participate on the 23rd and great feedback from our employers, this might just be the first of many.
There's so much, Jennifer Llewellyn, manager of Oakland County Workforce Development at Oakland County Michigan Works, for people to prepare for as they're going into the job market right now, because there's a lot of opportunity, but there's also a lot more competition than before, a lot more talented competition than we've seen before. What are some resources that you suggest and your organization suggests that people take in as they're preparing to go through this process, or as they continue to go through this process, so they can put their best foot forward?
Absolutely. That's a really great question. Well, obviously, I'm going to promote the value of the Michigan Work system. So we have a team of trained career advisors. They're all certified as career development facilitators and have a lot of experience in this space. So, reach out to our team, the Michigan Works team across the state, to see if you can, work with a career advisor to guide you through your search. It's really important to have that person to be accountable to, someone that can be your champion, someone that can, guide you through the process, that is an expert. If Michigan Works isn't an option for you, if you'd prefer, to work with someone find a family friend, find a mentor, find someone through your religious congregation, or someone that can help you through that accountability. We're all guilty of procrastinating, and we often see it in a job search where we're like, well, I have 15 more weeks of unemployment benefits, or I'll get to it after the kids go back to school, or I'll get to it after the holidays. But during a job search, it's really important to make sure that you've got a plan in place, that you've got someone to run things by, and that accountability, making sure you're setting aside time each day to work on your job search. And probably the hardest part is the networking. So it's statistically the most successful way that people find work. So I always ask people, think about all your jobs that you've had over the course of your career, and think about how did you get that job? How did you find that job? And for most people, 80% of the time it's, someone they knew. And so it can be a difficult and sometimes humiliating or embarrassing process for folks to reach out to friends and family and former coworkers and say, hey, I'm looking for work. This is the type of job I'm looking for. Are there connections that you can help me make, or set up informational interviews? So, putting yourself out there, it's easy sometimes to get behind a computer. Well, I applied for 10 jobs online and I didn't hear anything. Statistically, applying for jobs online isn't the most successful. It's that personal networking and personal connection and personal engagement.
So if I'm someone that is trying to break into a new industry maybe, and I don't have as many connections in that arena, how would you suggest someone trying to break in? Should they try to cold call or go on to LinkedIn and look for profiles of people that maybe work for that company?
Yeah, LinkedIn is a great option. Professional organizations. So, if you're new to, let's say, the healthcare industry, are there organizations related to your industry or occupation that you can join? Is there someone that who knows someone? So, I'll tell a personal example. A dear friend of mine recently completed her master's degree, and her focus is on refugee education. And she, didn't really have any contacts in the area. And so I helped her. She reached out to me and said, you know what, I really, I don't know anyone. I'm looking for my first job. I've applied for all these jobs all over the country. I haven't found anything. And so I introduced her to some folks that I knew that were experts in that area. They were so gracious with their time. You know, people love to talk. They love to share information about what they do. So, you know, even though she didn't have any contacts, you know, I was able to get her connected to people that I knew. And she landed a job through that networking. So, you know, the networking, the professional organizations, you know, talking to people and asking them who they know. So who can you connect me to? And with each person you meet, ask for that next connection. Don't leave that meeting or that appointment or that Zoom call without asking, is there anyone else that you can suggest that I meet with?
Jennifer, I would think that you would be a great contact in any regard, in any arena. Are you finding employees on the other end are able and more willing to speak with potential candidates more so now because of the crisis than prior?
You know, I think it comes down to, you know, your personal willingness to do that and your employer's, you know, willingness to allow you to do that. So that's why those personal connections are really helpful. You know, I do think, you know, it's been fascinating with the pandemic that it's almost made it easier in some ways to reconnect with people by phone or by video. You know, I think in many ways it was always, oh, I don't have time for that person or meet them for coffee. But we're finding new and innovative ways. And I think that there is a willingness, you know, we saw it during the recession of 2008 through 2010 that I believe that these hard times, you know, do help us find the best in people. And I'm finding a willingness of like, you know, this person's on hard times, they're out of work. Is there something that you can do to help them? And at the end of the day, most people are good people and willing to do that. So yeah, we do see that a bit more. People are more generous with their time, better use of our time with technology, and just more willing to help out a neighbor and a friend.
Jennifer Llewellyn with us. She is the manager of Oakland County Workforce Development at Oakland County Michigan Works. So we've talked a lot about the resources for job hunting and for businesses that are looking to bring on some more employees. You also have a financial coaching program. Can you explain what that is, who it's available to, how it would be helpful to somebody?
Yes, you know, we're really excited about this. This is a space we've not been in previously, but with, you know, financial support from Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter and the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, we launched a financial coaching program back in June, and this is open to any Oakland County resident. So whether you're employed or unemployed, it doesn't matter how old you are, but you can work one-on-one, confidentially, and right now virtually with one of our financial coaches who can sit down with you and talk about, you know, what are your short-term financial goals? What are your long-term financial goals? And assess your financial wellness. So this is not financial investment. You know, nothing's going to be sold to you or anything like that. This is just to help individuals put together a plan to assess where are they now and where is it that they want to be. So whether that's retirement or, you know, saving for a first home or maybe, you know, getting out of renting and purchasing a home or setting aside, you know, money for child's education, retirement, they can help you through that process. Even if you're in crisis mode, absolutely give us a call. We'd love to help. But even if you're, you know, maybe working two-parent income and you're still struggling, this is a good opportunity to talk to one of our experts and come up with that plan. As part of that, we're also offering a series of financial workshops. So maybe if you're not ready for that one-on-one meeting with a financial coach, but you'd love some tips and words of advice, on our website, oaklandcountymiworks.com, you'll see a list of the virtual financial coaching workshops, as well as all of our other virtual workshops as well on LinkedIn and resume writing and interviewing. But, you know, we'd love to help people. We're hearing that a lot of individuals are struggling as a result of COVID-19 and the pandemic and some of the costs associated with that. So, you know, we'd like to help people with their financial wellness as well as their career wellness.
Jennifer, just a couple more minutes with you. Top 3 tips that you would give someone for looking for a new job.
Oh gosh, that's a great question. Well, number one we've talked about is just network. And it's hard. It's really really difficult to sometimes put our pride aside and ask for help. But that is number one tip, always has been my number one tip, and that is where we see the most success. Number two is don't procrastinate. The unemployment weeks can go by quickly, and job search can take a while. So, setting aside a time each day. So I'm going to work on my job search 20 hours per week. Having a notebook where you're logging, what positions you applied for and where you need to follow up. So making sure you're not procrastinating and make sure you're dedicating time towards your job search. And then the third piece would probably be around just making sure you've got a solid LinkedIn profile, a solid resume, and a solid interviewing strategy and elevator pitch, your 30-second sales pitch. So just making sure that you've got all of your ducks in a row for your job search, a solid resume, solid LinkedIn, solid answers to interview questions, and making sure that you can sell yourself in 30 seconds. So I know that's probably more than 3, it's probably 10. But, we really, everyone likes to think that we're a great interviewer and everyone likes to think we've got a great resume, but that's really not always the case. So putting in the practice and making yourself really focused on a job search is very important.
All great tips. Last question for you. If someone is maybe underemployed, can they still use your services?
Absolutely. So Michigan Works is available to all job seekers, regardless of where they're at. And quite frequently, that's probably what we see the most is individuals that are working and maybe not working full time, or working but not really satisfied with where they're at or what they're doing, and they want to make a career change. So, absolutely, you can call 1-800-285-WORK. That will automatically get you connected to the Michigan Works office that's closest to you, anywhere in Michigan, regardless of where you live. And talk to the team there. Let them know where you're at, what you're struggling with, what's going on, and they will offer suggestions and programs that are most helpful to you.
Jennifer Llewellyn, manager of the Oakland County Workforce Development here in Oakland County Michigan Works. Thank you so much for taking time out of this dreary Tuesday to join us on the Megacast.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and it was enjoyable. I hope it was helpful to your listeners.
Most definitely. And I will say one of the good things about remote working is you don't have to get out in the rain and mess up your hair.
Absolutely.
It's always a silver lining, right? You just have to look for the silver lining in all of this.
Exactly. Well, thanks again. I appreciate the time, and look forward to joining you again in the future sometime.
Great information and great tips. So everyone out there, if you're looking for a new job or maybe a different job, you want to make a career change, this could be the time to do it. And they have some great things coming up. So mark your calendar, September 23rd for their virtual job fair. Go on to their website, Oakland County Michigan Works, miworks.org. Sign up right now and get in line to be able to participate with that virtual career fair. So we're going to take a quick break here on the Oakland County Megacast. And when we come back, we are going to check in with one of the awesome restaurants here in Oakland County to see how they are doing during COVID-19. You're listening to and watching the Oakland County Megacast.
Michigan, we're calling on you to save lives. Don't ignore it. Don't let it go to voicemail. It's urgent. In fact, it's critical. Because if you've been in close contact with someone who tests positive for COVID-19, you may have been exposed to the virus. And you could get a call from My COVID Help or your local health department. So please answer the call to learn how to protect yourself, your family, and friends. We're calling on you to stop the spread of COVID-19, to make it safe to reopen businesses and help Michigan move forward. So if you get a call from My COVID Help or your local health department, you may have been exposed to someone with COVID-19. To protect us all, answer the call. Learn more at michigan.gov/containcovid. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonae Caldoun. I'm the Chief Medical Executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The people who are at highest risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19 are the elderly and those with chronic medical conditions. That includes people with heart disease, diabetes, COPD, or those who have compromised immune systems. People who are in those categories should right now be staying at home as much as possible and not going out if it is not essential. If you fit into one of those categories, those are the things you should do. And if you have a family member who fits into one of those categories, you should be checking in on them and making sure they are following those guidelines. There's something everyone can do to protect the community from COVID-19.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Ronnie Dahl alongside Tyler Keith, and you're listening to the Megacast Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Access. And you can always catch us on the radio, 89.3 Lakes FM and 88.1 FM, The Biff. And if you do have cable, catch us on Channel 15 on Comcast and Channel 99 on AT&T, which basically means, Tyler, you can catch us everywhere.
Pretty much, yeah. You can get us pretty much everywhere around the entire county and around the world.
And the great thing is you can always catch us on social media. Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, our Facebook partner of the day. We always appreciate having them partner with us on the Oakland County Megacast, so they are streaming today's edition of the Megacast live on their Facebook page. Thank you to them. You know, Tyler, I don't know about you, but during the pandemic, food has been my comfort. I'm a little bit cooking challenged, so restaurants are a lifeline for someone like me. We won't count how many times we eat out in a week, but keeping the doors open for so many of the restaurants been a struggle during the crisis. Brandon Kidder, he is with the Family Table Cafe in downtown Auburn Hills. He's joining us on the Megacast. Good morning. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
How's it going? Are things picking up for you?
Yeah, things are going much better now. We're starting to see kind of the normal business flow come back. Very busy on the weekends, having a little lull in the mornings on the weekdays, but we're really starting to see business kind of come back to the way it was before the quarantine and everything like that. So things seem to be going great. Obviously, there's some changes with the mask protocol and some of the things like that. But other than that, things are going great, and we couldn't be more blessed.
Are you having issues with people not wanting to wear a mask at all?
So I would say very, very rarely. I mean, maybe 5 out of 100 guests might not have one on. And, you know, we very politely and nicely ask them if they could just, we have them here for them as well if they didn't bring one with them. If, just put it on until they get to the table, and then they can take it off of the table. It hasn't been a big issue, to be perfectly honest. Right in the beginning, it was a little tricky because people just weren't so used to it. But I'd say over the last month or so, we really haven't had any issues with it.
More and more people just becoming accustomed that this is going to be the norm now. Make sure you have your mask. I know you're located in downtown Auburn Hills. Are you worried about the winter time coming and maybe losing some of that traffic or just not being able to service as many customers?
Yeah, that's definitely an area of concern. We do have a beautiful patio out front, and even like on a day like today, we can't necessarily use it because of the weather, but that's been a blessing during this time to kind of people feel, as I understand, a little bit more comfortable being out there with the open air and stuff like that. So it's definitely a concern moving forward. But we're just trying to focus on the things that we can control, and whether that be our carryout service or additional carryout, catering and stuff like that. So it's definitely a concern, but I'm sure we will be able to get through it somehow.
So Brandon Kidder with us, the Family Table Cafe. How have things been for you with hiring employees? I understand you're somewhat of a family restaurant, but are you running into an issue of getting employees, and do you anticipate that could get worse with students going back to college?
Yeah, that's been our biggest issue is staffing. we tend to have a relatively young staff. So a lot of high school students in the busing and dishwashing and serving positions. And then, they just started going back to virtual classes and stuff like that. So staffing has definitely been a big issue for us. It seems over the next couple of weeks, we've got some great hires coming in. But it's my dad and I who run the place, and it definitely has looked like us washing dishes and filling in any holes that might need to be filled. But staffing has definitely been tough right now, yeah.
Brandon Kidder with us from the Family Table Cafe in Auburn Hills, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. Brandon, Courtney Casey of Blue Skies Brewery referred to your business as one of the cornerstones of the community in Auburn Hills, and it's been told to us that you seem to be a hub for people in downtown Auburn Hills. How important, especially during the pandemic, has relationship building with other businesses and with the people of Auburn Hills been to the longevity of your business?
It's been incredible. Right when everything hit, it was definitely, as I'm sure for everyone, not just business owners, it was an extremely hard time. But immediately, right off the bat, we saw support from the community. One of the programs we work through is our coffee is all produced locally through Avondale High School, which is within a mile of our restaurant. Right when things started to go a little south, they came out and started supporting and buying gift cards and lunches and stuff like that. And then really all of the businesses down here have done a great job of supporting each other, whether it's Courtney and Shannon at the brewery and the wine bar, or some of the other restaurants down here. There's been it's been really awesome to see everyone kind of come together and support each other as a whole. The community itself, all of our regular guests and stuff like that, supported us during the quarantine, and would come in and get carryouts, and we did some catering for some different hospitals and stuff like that. So it's an awesome community to be a part of. My dad grew up in Auburn Hills. I grew up 5 minutes over in Rochester, and it's home to us, and it's been nothing but awesome so far. So definitely been cool to see kind of everyone pull together. It's been awesome.
We've made it through the summer, and now the focus is kind of shifting to the fall time. The fear of a second wave with the flu, what would that do to your business if you had to shut down again?
It would be tough, but I do believe that going through that whole process did make the company itself stronger, gave us confidence that no matter what kind of lies ahead, that we can take it on. Definitely nerve-wracking. Definitely, I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous about it. But there's definitely a new level of confidence that with the community that we're in, and our regular guests and our staff, that we will be able to make it through it. I'm sure there'll be new obstacles as we go, just as with the face mask and our new sanitizing policies and stuff like that. Which a lot of those I think are actually helpful for the restaurant industry anyway. So I'm sure it's going to be a challenging road ahead, but we're excited for what that might bring.
We've talked to a lot of businesses during this crisis, and so many of them say they've actually learned a thing or two. Is there something that your business and your restaurant has learned during this that you think you will keep going post-pandemic?
Yeah, there's a couple things actually. Number one, we changed up the menu, eliminating some of the things that weren't huge sellers, and then adding on some new creative ideas that we had some time during the quarantine to experiment with different recipes and change some things up, whether that be soups or lunch and breakfast items. And then we also have started to try to look outside the box a little bit, and we're now doing a happy hour special, during the week, 8 to 10 o'clock. We're doing some $5 menu items just to kind of encourage some of the times that we're a little bit slower. So we've definitely, we've tried to go to our social media marketing a little bit more and encourage people to interact with that. And it's definitely been a cool experience doing that. And So those are a few of the things that we've done. We, during the quarantine itself, we started to sell produce bags and stuff like that. Sorry, this is where we had the best internet connection, so don't mind that behind me. I apologize. But yeah, so those are some of the things that we've experimented with.
So Brandon, it's been different for every business, particularly in the restaurant industry, in terms of what they're doing to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in their facilities. So when people go to the Family Table Cafe, what can they expect in terms of the experience to be able to have a similar experience they'd have in normal times, but adjusted for COVID-19?
Yes. So one of the big things, and I would imagine all restaurants are doing this, but we're very high on is, the staff getting a temperature check every day. There's also a system that we use where they log in and answer a few questions every morning. Are they feeling well? Do they have a fever? Some generic kind of questions like that. Just making sure that we're kind of ahead of the game and not reacting, but being proactive there. And then as far as so we're trying to do our best on our end, wearing masks. That's non-negotiable. And then our sanitizer procedures, wearing gloves. Really trying to just go above and beyond, wiping down all the menus, wiping down the doors when people leave, and making sure that when somebody comes in, they feel comfortable. And then obviously, as far as the customers go, as some people might be a little hesitant to wear a mask, we have no problem asking them to put that mask on when they enter, and making sure that there's no loopholes there. So we're doing everything we can, staying as clean as we can. And trying our best.
Brandon Kidder with us, the Family Table Cafe in downtown Auburn Hills. And I've been checking out your social media over the last couple of days. You seem to have such a wide variety on your menu. How do you come up with some of the new dishes and what to serve? Because they are somewhat of a twist on some of the classics.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, and thank you for the compliment. We have an incredible staff. Right now I'm kind of working in a few different departments, but I'm in the kitchen right now, and my dad also is the lead baker, so he does all of our scones and pastries, biscuits, soups, everything like that. So primarily everything in the restaurant is made from scratch, and I think we have a really cool environment that's very open and allows for people to kind of bring up creative ideas, and we try not to shoot any of that down. We'd rather, whether it's our ricotta raspberry French toast or our avocado toast or any of our deep fried Monte Cristo, any of those sort of things, it might have just been a staff idea. They brought it to the table. We tried it. The staff tried it. We would roll it out to some of our guests, and if people like it, we bring it on. So we try to keep those creative juices flowing. And much of the staff's been here for the last 4 years, and it makes for an environment that we don't really shoot down ideas like that, and we encourage the creative side.
That's so awesome. What's it like to work with your family, though?
It's been an awesome experience. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a challenge. My dad and I, not to get too deep into us, but we've been together as most parents are with their kids. But my dad was a teacher of mine in middle school. I then moved on to high school, and he was one of my assistant principals. And now we're business partners. So we've always kind of been together in some sense. So we have a good baseline of understanding of, when we say a certain thing, there's no disrespect meant. My mom also helps out on the weekends as a server. So it's definitely a challenge. So don't get me wrong there. But we have a good relationship amongst each other, and I never thought I'd be in this position, but I couldn't be happier with kind of the direction of my life and the direction of the restaurant and family and stuff like that. So it's been amazing.
So for those that have never been to your restaurant that are watching and listening to this right now, they want to go, what's the number one thing they should try on your menu?
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we'll give you the top three.
That's like picking between your kids. Okay, so I'm not necessarily the culinary expert here. I try to kind of stay in the front of house. I'm helping out in the kitchen now because some staffing issues. But I have one thing that I've added to the menu, and that's a honey and apple grilled cheese. It's got sourdough bread, 2 pieces of mozzarella, 2 pieces of provolone, a little bit of mozzarella, some basil, some bacon, and then a drizzle of honey over it. It's a nice balance of like sweet and savory. So I have to, since that's mine, that has to be number one. And then kind of the things that we're known for is our breakfast burrito, which is, a little different than like your stereotypical one. It's or standard one. Sorry, wrong word. But it's got some chorizo in it that is delicious and savory. And then we have a veggie breakfast bowl that has some goat cheese on it, which is a little off the, not super standard, and some avocado, some homemade potatoes under there. And then I would say, so those three, so veggie bowl, the honey apple grilled cheese, and the breakfast burrito. And then I think what really helps us stand above the rest as far as our level of restaurant is all of our baking's in-house. So, whether it's our homemade scones or biscuits or we do a cool little thing called a monkey bread, which is like a little pull-apart dough. It's cinnamon sugar tossed. So those are some of the things I think if you come to the family table, you got to try a pastry. And then maybe one of those 3 items. Those are 3 of my favorites. So some different stuff, but they've been working and we enjoy it.
The Family Tree Cafe is definitely on my must-visit list this week. How's it been for you all with the supply chain? Are you able to get the supplies and the food that you need? I know in the beginning that wasn't a big issue, but it seems like things are easing up now.
That's 100% correct. Yeah, in the beginning it was tough. There was a lot of, whether it be factories or certain companies that weren't producing some of the food we were using in the past. Right now it's pretty good. I would say the prices of things have definitely risen. So that's something that we're trying to kind of balance as far as we don't want to, raise our prices too far up. But we are trying to kind of take that into account as far as the menu price goes. But yeah, in the beginning, right when we came back, from quarantine, there was some issues there as far as getting specific products. But at this point, it's been pretty good. So things seem to kind of be back to normal. Like I said, the biggest issue or the biggest obstacle as far as that's concerned is just the pricing of specific goods going up. But nothing we can handle.
Brendan Kidder with us on the Oakland County Megacast. Brendan, just another couple minutes with you before we let you go. Anything else that you'd like our audience to know about the Family Table Cafe or anything else that you'd like to discuss today?
I'd like to just point out, and I know I kind of brought it up in the beginning, but our community is amazing. I know you guys already talked to Courtney and Shannon. I would just encourage people to come to the very small block by block downtown Auburn Hills area that we have. Our government is very involved, whether it's the city mayor or the manager. Very supportive, very open to ideas, allow us to really succeed in the area. So that's something that's been really dear to our hearts. And yeah, I'd love for people to come check us out. Excited to get back to a full restaurant and be able to service as many people as possible. So that's about all.
Brendan Kidder with us from the Family Table Cafe in downtown Auburn Hills. Looking forward to getting out there, and I will say I think your grilled cheese is going to be my must-order item as I get out there this week. Thanks so much for being with us here on the Oakland County Megacast.
Thank you so much for having me, and we look forward to seeing you guys. I'll know when you come in when I see that honey apple hit the board. So thank you again so much, and you guys have an awesome day.
You're so welcome. It's good to have you on the show and to check in with you. Again, they're located in downtown Auburn Hills. If you are someone who is looking for a job, it seems like a fun place to work, a lot of great people. family atmosphere and amazing food out there. So check out their Facebook page. They are posting videos and their daily specials on there. I know I saw the one, it was like dollar waffles on Wednesdays. I mean, it's amazing how these restaurants are trying to survive and still cater to the public at the same time.
Yeah, they're doing their part. They're doing as best as they possibly can, and they're getting creative, and they're getting interactive with the community and doing a great job of listening. And I think that's been one of the many reasons they've had some success in surviving through a really difficult time for a lot of businesses in that particular industry.
So we were talking with Brandon Kidder, the Family Table Cafe. Go in, say hi to Brandon, say hi to his father. We're going to take a quick break here on the Oakland County Megacast, and when we come back, we are going to shift focus just a little bit and look at the gyms. They are allowed to reopen this week, and we'll be checking in with an area gym owner to see how they have been surviving and the plans for reopening. This is the Oakland County Megacast.
This may seem uncomfortable, but so is being hooked to an IV, sleeping in a hospital bed, and fighting for your life. When it comes to COVID-19, comfort is not as important as saving lives. Wearing a mask can greatly reduce the chance of spreading the virus. So mask up, Michigan, every time you leave home.
Hi, my name is Kurt Lawson, and I'm the Public Information Officer for West Bloomfield Township. We wanted to reach out to you, our older adults, to provide information that you may find useful during this difficult time. We want to ensure you that West Bloomfield Town Hall, our Waters and Utility Department, West Bloomfield Parks, and our police and fire departments continue to work hard on your behalf. Information and resources can be found on the Township website, the police Facebook and Twitter, or call West Bloomfield Park's COVID-19 Help Hotline. Please remember to keep your social distance of at least 6 feet, wear facial coverings when you leave your home, and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. These precautions will help keep you safe during these difficult times.
As rivals, we don't always see eye to eye.
Like who scored the best recruits?
Who's gonna be who?
And whether we wear green or blue.
But one thing we can all agree on to help stop the spread of COVID-19. Wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Wear a mask.
The ball's in your court, Michigan.
January 2020, Michigan High-Fit Athletics opened its doors in Auburn Hills, offering a high-energy, fast-paced, and I mean fast-paced, boot camp-style workout. Then COVID-19 hit, and with gyms now getting the green light to reopen, we wanted to check in with the owner, Dennis Pondo, to see how things are going out there in Auburn Hills. Dennis, thank you so much for being with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So, doors are reopening tomorrow. Have you been offering workouts outside during this time?
Yes. We've been offering ever since I think it was like the first week of June, when we were allowed to open up a little bit outdoors. We've been running classes pretty much like 2 times a day on like Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Been running stuff outside as much as we possibly can, and we've had people wanting more and more stuff, but as far as more and more class times and different things, but in order for us just to do things as safe as possible, we just kind of kept it to those 3 days a week, 2 classes a day, and we capped our classes at 10 people just to make it as safe as we possibly could.
So what's it going to look like at your gym tomorrow when you reopen?
It's going to be different. That's for sure. We're already doing now, even when we're doing things completely outside. Everybody that walks in has to have the mask on, number one, and then when they walk in the door, they have to sign a sheet. They have to take their temperature. They have to write down if they have any symptoms, and then they have to put their class time and date. And before they come in, we actually have a online reservation service as well. So people have to reserve their classes before they come in, and then they have to fill out the sheet when they get there. And then I basically make sure that all my people that are registered on those and that are signing those sheets, that everything kind of, you know, coincides. So I make sure all the right thing. I'm getting all the right information from people when they come in. But no, I mean, so far nobody's had a problem with it. Everyone's pretty happy to just go ahead and sign the thing. And we just ask people, you know, if they're not feeling good to, you know, stay home. But I think a lot of people are they're just raring and ready to get back to the gym.
Do you think you'll still offer some classes outdoors and then some indoors to be able to service more clients?
Yeah, I mean, our gym is set up. We have two big bay doors in the back of the gym, so the gym is pretty wide open as far as airflow goes. And then I've got three really big drum fans that I run to kind of circulate the air, pushing it all outside. So we kind of run classes right, you know, that we'll run them once we open, and they'll be kind of like a half and half. So like they'll be doing a little bit of running outside. Anything that we can set up outside safely that's not going to damage our stuff, we'll definitely do outside while we can. Obviously, in living here in Michigan, the weather's about to take a turn on us, and it's going to make it a little bit harder. But as long as we're, you know, wearing masks inside and, you know, keeping that 6 foot distance and stuff like that, I really don't see that much of a problem, because a lot of people, like I said, they're willing and ready to listen, to do whatever it is that they have to do, and so they can just get back to the gym. And I really think people definitely need it right now, desperately.
Dennis Pondo joining us. He is the owner and head coach at Michigan High Fit Athletics, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. Dennis, in regular times and now, especially the keeping your gym clean and making sure that your attendees are keeping the areas that they use clean is more critical than ever. What efforts are your team making at Michigan High Fit Athletics in order to maintain a clean environment as people circulate in and out? And what are you encouraging or requiring, better yet, of your attendees and your patrons?
Yeah, so like I was just saying a minute ago, I mean, when number one, people have to register for classes. So they have to register for each class that they come to, because I have to cap a class. So classes are capped at a certain number, and if we reach that cap, we can't let anybody else in the building. So if you don't sign up and then you try to come to class, I can't have over a certain amount of people in that actual class. So that's the first thing they have to do when they walk in the door. They have to fill out a sheet that's basically check their temperature, symptoms, and then which class that they're coming to, and then sign and date that, and then wear a mask as well. And then once they're in, as far as that goes, once they're in, they're pretty much in. And then from there, what we ask of them, and we have hand sanitizers all over the gym, and we ask them that, number one, when they finish anything that they're doing at the gym, don't bother with the hand sanitizer and actually go in and wash your hands, because the hand sanitizers only do so much. And then as far as cleaning goes, we have, I can't even tell you right now, 25, 30 bottle solutions around the gym, and then we basically change the cleaning towels out after each class. So right now, that's definitely, as far as budget goes, that's making it a little bit hard, because you're using so much stuff. And then the floors, we have a floor cleaning machine, and we basically clean the floor pretty much every single day. And because everything just it has to be clean. It has to be sanitized. And we want everyone to, number one, feel safe, and we want to make sure that everyone is safe, including us and our staff.
Dennis Pondo with us here on the Oakland County Megacast. If we get a second surge in the fall, which some experts are predicting, are you concerned that the gyms will be one of the first to close back down, since you were one of the last to be allowed to reopen?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that there's many gyms or businesses out there that can take another financial hit like we did, because we're shut down. I mean, some landlords have been, decent with people, but some are not, and the gym's closed, but the bills keep on coming. I mean, and as the winter months come here, you're still gonna have to heat your building. You got water, you got so much stuff involved, and then rent alone. So if your members aren't coming in, and you're not doing something to keep them happy or keep them going, I'm definitely worried that something like that, could happen again. And that's why we're trying to do the best that we can, at least in our four walls, to be able to, keep it safe, so that, so something like that for us hopefully doesn't happen or doesn't start with us.
As a new business owner, how hard has this been for you to even keep the doors open at this point?
It's been hard. I have another business that I did more for just extra money, and now that's why I'm broadcasting to you right now from Battle Creek, Michigan, because I had to drive out here to do some stuff for another job that I have in order to kind of pay some of the bills and keep the doors open, because we know that this is what we want to do, but we know this is just a bump in the road for us, and we have to manage, and we have to cope with it and get through it. We managed to keep a lot of our membership happy by just kind of shifting gears, and I borrowed out probably 60% of my gym when we closed out to everyone that we had as members. And then if you were to go on our Instagram or Facebook page during that whole shutdown, you'll see a workout for every single day of the week that basically was a video showing people exactly what to do with the equipment that we let them borrow. And that was just a way to kind of keep them going. And we've had a lot of people reach out and just say, thank you so much for keeping me sane through the 3 months that we really couldn't do anything, with just, being able to work out for that half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, so how important do you think it's been for you and other businesses to have that core client relationship in order to keep going?
Oh, it's extremely important. I'm blessed that I've been in this business for roughly 20 years, and since I've bounced around when I was younger and at a couple of the bigger box gyms, and I managed at Lifetime Fitness and stuff like that, and then I opened up a gym in another area, and then before coming to here, and from Lifetime to the other gym to here, I have multiple clients that have followed me to all of them, and it's upwards of 10 plus years that I've had a couple of a good handful of people, and they just continue to support, and they're just there. They're willing to do anything that they can do to help, because they believe in what we're doing, and they love how they feel when they're at the gym, and they don't want to see that go away.
Dennis Pondo joining us. He's the owner and head coach at Michigan High Fit Athletics with us on the Oakland County Megacast. And with all the precautions that you're taking, there's even despite all that, there's still a chance that there could potentially be an outbreak started in any location, including at your gym. In the event that is the case, what is your team's plans to work through that?
Well, we would have to work with our local city, and number one, just to have them, if something were to happen, reach out and get the most important people that we need in to figure out, what happened, and who has it, and just to make sure that whatever happens, it's contained as fast as possible. And if we have to shut down for a week or so or whatever it is, then that's what we would have to do. A week or two is nothing compared to what we had to go through. So if need be, in order to keep everybody safe, then if we have to shut down for whatever it is, then we would have to do that. And I'm imagining any other business would do the same, hopefully, just because everyone has to be safe. If it happens and you get it in the gym, or you get it in the grocery store, or you get it in the restaurant, and you don't do something, you're not helping it. That's for sure. And the reputation that you're definitely going to get from not closing down, and kind of putting it out there that you're just going to do what you need to do. And we would definitely do the right thing and shut down to keep everybody safe.
So Dennis, if I could shift focus for just a little bit, when I was on your Facebook page, I noticed that back in June, you and your organization ended your affiliation with CrossFit MHA. Can you tell us why you made that decision and what was behind that?
Well, there was a lot that went on in that course of a week when a lot of people left. One of the first emails that I had read was when the young lady from Rocket CrossFit at the time, she had sent the email to corporate, and in her email she had put that every time she explains her gym and her brand, she would always say that I'm not the typical CrossFit. And when I read that, I looked at my wife, and it rang a huge bell for us, because I used to explain it the exact same way. I loved CrossFit when it first came out, and it did a lot for a lot of people. But I was always one that's how I explained it. And then when a lot of the racial stuff came out from the owner, that's just not who we are. I mean, we are an equal opportunity. I mean, to the nines. We don't just discriminate one bit. And that's just, I was already questioning the brand as it is, just because of kind of where it's gone, and the flaunting, and just it's just not what it used to be. It used to be a very family orientated type thing, and now I can't have kids coming in my building with guys in no shirts all the time, and girls with shorts that are so short. I can't have that stuff. And then when they started with some of the racist stuff, that's not a brand that I want to stand behind. So I'd go of that brand and be my own brand. And to be honest with you, since the moment I've let it go, I've done nothing but gain people from it.
Brandon Dennis Pondo with us. He's the owner and head coach of Michigan High Fit Athletics on the Oakland County Megacast, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. Just a few more minutes with you. Your signal's kind of going in and out here, so hopefully it comes back with us. I know that you do work with a lot of athletes, high school athletes, as well as college athletes. What lessons do you hope that they learn by participating in your gym?
Well, we do have a lot of athletes, and it's actually funny you asked that. I was just at someone's house the other day, and their son comes in, and they were just telling me, like, you don't understand the kind of the respect that the boys have for you. And I guess so in saying that, we train the boys for their sport, right? Or for their general fitness or whatever it is. But we always try to do it in such a positive atmosphere that, we want to lift these kids up, especially right now with everything that's gone on. They've had a lot of things taken from them as far as school goes and school sports, and some kids just weren't ready for that. We weren't ready for that. So right now we are really focused on just really pumping these kids up and just making them, just trying to be more of like role models for them as well as we train them, and just, get them to understand that, this is kind of what life is all about. And, sometimes I feel like a lot of kids growing up now, life is a little bit different because of all the stuff that they have at the helm for them, but they're almost growing up so fast, but there's a lot of things that they don't understand, and that life can be pretty tough. And that's just something that, we kind of go over with the boys and girls, and just try to get them to understand that, nothing's easy, and you have to work for everything. And if you want to play basketball or baseball or whatever it is in these days, you got to work. And we kind of get that, through to them. And then we try to get them to not only use that in their sport, but to use that in school and at home and just all over in life.
So Dennis, watching the videos on your YouTube page as well as your social media pages, it's very intense, very high impact, energetic. If I'm someone who is just getting back into working out, it can seem a little intimidating. What would you suggest for people that want to come to your gym? Should they go ahead and jump in, or, you know, is this for the more elite athlete?
Not for the elite athlete. So if you were to come in, that's one thing you'll notice. I've been in this a long time, so I'm not just a coach. So I'm not just going to coach you if you're an athlete. I've got people that I've been training for so long that are not athletes at all. You know, I mean, it has nothing to do with that. So our main goal in everything that we do is to meet the member where they're at. That's our job, is to meet you where your fitness is at, and then to take you to where it is that you want to go. Right? That's what it should always be. We can modify anything that we're doing. We can modify, and we have all walks of life in the gym. I mean, our youngest right now is around 9 years old, and then we have probably 12 to 16 members that are in their 50s and 60s. So it definitely, do not look at it and think that you can't do any of it, because you can do all of it. It has to be modified to what you can do right now. That way, that number one, you're making the proper gains, progressions as to where you want to go. But yes, I mean, the gym, like I put on a lot of, I think that the gym is for everyone. It is. The gym is literally it's for all ages.
High energy and a lot of fun. It definitely looks like that with these boot camp style workouts. So Dennis Pondo, just one last question for you before we let you go. Anything that you want the public to know? Do you want to share your location, and are you accepting new clients?
Yeah, we are absolutely accepting new clients, and we are right downtown Auburn Hills. We're at the corner of Squirrel and Auburn Road. So there's a bunch of apartment buildings going up, and we're kind of like smack in the middle of all that stuff going on there now. We are currently running a 20% off special for all of our open gym membership as well. And if anything I can say, just anyone out there, that lives in the area, and really all over, just do your best to support the small businesses, because we definitely need it. We definitely got hit hard. And you'll notice if you come into my gym that we are a very close knit group, and we take care of each other, and there's no judgment at all. It's a positive atmosphere, and I can guarantee you will walk out with your head held high every time you do, and you will feel absolutely fantastic.
Well, Dennis, thank you so much for being with us on the Oakland County Megacast. A lot of times the hardest thing is just actually getting to the gym and working out, but once you do, it is a close community. So thank you so much. Check them out, Michigan High Fit Athletics, downtown Auburn Hills. Dennis Pondo is the owner and head coach. We're going to take a quick break here on the Oakland County Megacast. Remember, you can catch us on the Birmingham area municipal access in 89.3 Lakes FM and 88.1 FM, The Biff.
Hi, I'm Dr. Faust, the medical director for the Oakland County Health Division. The most important thing you can do to prevent the spread of illness is to wash your hands thoroughly and often. Follow these 6 easy steps every time you wash your hands. Step 1, turn on the sink and wet your hands with warm water. Step 2, apply soap to your hands and lather between your fingers, under your nails, and the front and back of your hands and wrists. Step 3, wash your hands by scrubbing them together for at least 20 seconds. Step 4, rinse your hands with warm, clean water. And step 5, dry your hands with a clean cloth towel, a paper towel, or hot air blow dryer. If you're using a cloth towel, make sure to change it often. For handheld faucets, turn off the water using a paper towel instead of your bare hand. Step 6, if you're using a paper towel, throw it away. practice healthy habits like washing your hands after coughing or sneezing into them to keep you and others healthy. Go to oakgov.com/health or call Nurse on Call at 1-800-848-5533 to learn more.
Michigan, the coronavirus pandemic has put us all to the test. And now it's time to put COVID-19 to the test. As we move forward, testing will be critical. We encourage anyone who has reason to get tested to do so, those with symptoms and those without. If you are leaving home and going back to work, get tested. If you think you may have COVID-19 or you've been exposed recently through family, friends, or coworkers, get tested. Our test locator tool can help you find the right testing site that fits your needs. Even if you're looking for easy access with no cost, no prescription, and no appointment necessary, we've got you covered. Help Michigan move forward, not backward. To find a testing site or learn more, visit michigan.gov/coronavirus test. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Tomorrow is a day so many people have been waiting for, the reopening of gyms in the state of Michigan. Gym owners are preparing for the return of so many of their clients. And as you know, we just spoke with Dennis Pondo in Auburn Hills with Michigan High Fit Athletics. That style of workout can be intimidating to other people, but the good thing about working out, there are so many different options available for you. Pure Barre features 4 group classes, and it delivers an effective total body bar workouts that is focused on low impact and high intensity. I've taken a couple of these classes, and it is definitely a full body workout. And we want to go ahead right now and check in with Quincy Von Buskirk. She is the co-owner of Pure Barre over in West Bloomfield. Thanks for being with us on the Oakland County Megacast.
Thank you for having me.
Are you ready?
Ready to open? Oh boy, we are so beyond ready. This could not have come soon enough. We've been dying.
So tell us what's going to be different for your clients when they return to the studio tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, I want to emphasize what's going to be the same. We are going to get back in there and have the same awesome classes we've always had, hopefully with the same community coming back to us to get back at it. We are, of course, implementing enhanced cleaning procedures, which we had already implemented before we were closed on March 16th because this had already begun by then. So we were doing all the enhanced cleaning procedures as recommended by the CDC. What is different is the masks. So that will be interesting.
So for those that aren't familiar with Barre, explain the workout and what it is and what makes it different as well.
Well, Barre is based on ballet positioning. So turnout, parallel, using the ballet bar that you can see behind me. This is my home studio, by the way, not our business studio. This is where we were live streaming while we were shut down. Anyway, we use the bar for balance, and a lot of the movements are very simple and isometric and small, but we emphasize good posture, mind-body connection with the muscles that you're working, and just a really intense, deep workout. It's got a little bit of the yoga feeling as far as how we go inward and make that mind-body connection, but the music drives the whole class. It's all to the beat the whole time. It goes by really fast, which people love. It's very formatted, so you always know where you are in the workout, but yet it's never the same workout twice. So once you try it, you get hooked, and it's like nothing else. We have so many people who come in and say, I've never stuck with anything before, but I just love Pure Barre, and that's what happened to me as well. And now I own one with my co-owner, Sheila, who couldn't be here today. So thank you again for having us.
So if someone is looking for a new workout after being sedentary for the past 3, 4, 5 months, do they need to be a dancer to enjoy this type of workout?
That is a great question, and the answer is absolutely not. The movements are simplified, and you don't need any dance background. We are not dancing in class. We are keeping the beat, and we're moving to the music, but it's not dancing at all. It does appeal to former dancers, cheerleaders, that type of person who likes the studio environment, because it brings back the feeling of a ballet bar warm-up, but there's no dancing and you don't have to have any dance experience at all.
Over the course of the pandemic, you mentioned before you've been doing some virtual classes online while the physical location's been closed. But from a business standpoint, how critical is it at this point in time, with 6 months having gone by, 5 months having gone by, being shut down, to now be able to reopen the physical facility?
It is so critical to our survival. I tell people when we first shut down, it was surprising because the first month or two we held pretty strong, and we never could have imagined that our business would be shuttered. But again, the first couple of months we were like, we got this. And then there was a little glimmer of hope when we were told we would possibly be able to open after the 4th of July holiday. When it dragged on from there without a mention of when we could open, it got really gnarly. So people have, moved on. They've been working out outside. They've been building home gyms. And, we just hope that they find value in coming back to the community that we offer, because as we know, it's not as motivating to work out alone. Even if you have a great live stream class, even if you have your local teachers teaching that live stream, you do not push yourself as hard when you're alone. At least I don't, and I've heard from many people that they don't. So the reason we gravitate toward group fitness in the first place is because of the people working out all around us that motivate us and keep us going when we want to quit, or we want to check the time or the weather or our text messages, or hit pause and walk away, right?
That is so, so true. From a business standpoint, even though gyms are being allowed to reopen, it's still at a limited capacity. Is it going to be enough for you to be able to keep your doors open?
Well, it's going to have to be enough, because we're not giving up. We are fighting for this with everything we've got. We will recapture our clients. We know that some of them aren't comfortable to come in the studio right now, so we're offering a hybrid live stream and in-studio schedule, so they can still work out at home until they're ready and reassured that everything's okay. Yeah, we have to make it. We've got to do this, and we won't stop. We can't stop. And it's for not only ourselves, but for the community. I mean, we're here in West Bloomfield on the boardwalk. The restaurant next door to us, Freshie, who we had a great relationship with, unfortunately tacked a sign up on their door on the 1st of September that they are closing for good due to the impact of COVID. We see businesses going down around us. It's very unfortunate. I do want to thank the county for the aid that we've gotten that has allowed us to keep going. I've heard that restaurants are lobbying for more aid. I understand where they're coming from, because it's not going to be an instant recovery. We're not just going to open our doors with 5 classes a day and fill the place up. This could take a while, but we've got the time, hopefully. So we're just going to get out there and do what we do. Again, I think fitness is more important for people than ever. It's not about trying to look better. It's about trying to feel better right now. And getting together in a community setting and doing something that, gets those endorphins going is so helpful for mental health, physical health, and that is so what we need right now.
Do you find that the interest is greater because people have been away from community gyms for so long?
I think some people are definitely ready to get back and signed up for classes as soon as we opened. And then we've gotten a lot of new people that I think are in that boat where they've been cooped up, maybe lost their motivation and are looking for something. Actually, we're starting a fall fit challenge. It starts today, 30 classes in 60 days competing for prizes. And we have gotten some interest from people who are using that as a kickstart to commit to take these classes and make it count. So yeah, I would say the demand is there. And actually I've heard that the fitness and wellness and health industry is doing really well in these times. So, we have pivoted to selling some home equipment for use in home studios, and that's been successful for us. We pivoted to offer our retail online through an e-commerce pop-up shop, and that's been very well received. Again, some people are going to be reticent to get out into a gym setting. I'm still waiting for studies about whether COVID is spread in a gym setting. There has been some data out of Europe that shows there is no increased spread. I haven't seen any local studies done. I'm hoping one of our world-class universities here in Michigan will actually tackle that subject so we can get some hard data instead of just closing places on conjecture.
Quincy Von Buskirk with us. She's the co-owner of Pure Barre of West Bloomfield, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. So as people are coming back in, staff and patrons alike, new people coming in as well, possibly over the next several days, several weeks, several months. What is your team doing at Pure Barre in West Bloomfield to ensure a safe environment, maintain the guidelines that are in place for people in Michigan at this time and in the future?
Well, we're reducing our class size. We're staggering our classes so we have more time to clean in between. We're providing wipes and hand sanitizer throughout the building, closed down the water fountain and bottle filler. We are wearing masks during our workouts or optionally face shields. Again, we tested out the masks the other day and you can still teach in them, you can still take in them. I found I felt a little hotter and I sweated a little more working out, so we're definitely following Michigan guidelines to increase air circulation, turning on the fans, opening the outside doors, which also helps with the heating effect of the mask. But we're not a cardio workout, so I didn't feel short of breath during the workouts at all with the mask on. So, we definitely have to require masks, and we're limiting use of equipment. We're only allowing hand weights and mats, which we can easily disinfect between classes. And again, keeping those live streams going for people who aren't yet ready. So your membership includes both in studio and online courses. So you can join back right now and still take some time during our Fall Fit Challenge to work out at home until you decide whether you're ready to come in. So those are among the things we're doing. Definitely training staff, definitely having to spend a little more money to equip ourselves with the proper cleaning supplies, masks and gloves. And again, I want to thank the county, which gave us some PPE for free to put in the studio. So we're grateful for that.
I would imagine as a business owner, one of the greatest fears you have is if you get positive test and it's connected back to your studio. Have you talked about possibility of what that happens and what you will have to do?
Yes. We're part of a corporation, so there's 500 Pure Barre locations across the country, which interestingly, the company was started here in Birmingham, Michigan, and has since grown to be nationwide. So there's corporate protocol that has already been implemented in other studios. So we're just going to follow their lead. Of course, we keep track of everyone who comes through our doors. Everybody registers. We know everyone by name. We'll urge people not to come in if they have any symptoms at all. But if somebody does turn up with a positive test, then we would do the contact tracing and we would quarantine any of our staff members who came in contact with them, and close for deep cleaning and disinfectant, and again, follow corporate protocols. So I haven't completely look into yet. So let's hope we don't have to.
Fingers crossed, right? And so as you mentioned, this is a corporation. So there are other studios in other states that have been allowed to reopen. Have you talked with any of the other owners to see what their experience has been like?
Yeah, I mean, it's a slow road to recovery. It really is. You know, we're using all of our best sales practices and doing the best we can with mixed results. So definitely a slow climb out of this. And yeah, there have been some positive cases of COVID, but I've heard that after an initial flurry of panic to deal with it, it ends up okay because this is happening everywhere. We're not alone. We're not alone at Pure Barre. We're not alone in the fitness industry. Everybody is dealing in the workplace and at schools, you know, cases popping up. So we are just going to have to deal with it, right?
Quincy Von Buskirk, co-owner of Pure Barre of West Bloomfield, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. Quincy, just another couple minutes with you before we'll let you go today. Is there anything else you'd like our audience to know about Pure Barre of West Bloomfield, about your reopening now during the continuing COVID-19 pandemic, or other actions that you are taking at your business to ensure a safe experience as people return?
Well, I want to let everyone know that we are a very welcoming place. We cater to women. Men are more than welcome. We just don't get very many unless their wives drag them in when we host our Bring on the Men events. Yeah, when you're ready, do what feels right for you. And if you want to try Pure Barre, give us a call, email us at westbloomfield@purebarre.com, and we can get you on our live streams to try a class. But moreover, I would say just support your local businesses. If you want to buy something, if you're shopping, if you need a service, just think of your local business owners, because we're all in this together. And if you don't want to see empty storefronts, you know, on your street corners and in your town, here we live in a beautiful lake community of Oakland County, and it matters, you know, to support your local bakeries, your local restaurants, your local boutiques, your local fitness studios, whether it's Pure Barre or another business in town. Just stop in, say hi. Everything is it's so hard now to feel normal, and everybody, you know, just needs to go that extra mile to be kind to each other and to support each other right now. So do what you can.
Wednesday, I know that you mentioned about selling some of the supplies through a pop-up shop. Is that still available, and where can our listeners and viewers get more information?
We do a lot of our announcements through Facebook. So find us at Pure Barre West Bloomfield and like our page, and that will be your portal to our live, private, members-only live streaming page. And when we do have our pop-ups and flash sales of home equipment, it'll all be announced on there.
Thank you so much. We are speaking with Quincy Von Buskirk. She is the co-owner of Pure Barre West Bloomfield. If you have been sitting around the house for the past few months, and now is the time to get motivated, to get in shape, check them out. It really is a great, great workout. Wednesday, real quick before we let you go, how long are your classes?
They are 50 minutes on the dot. You will be in, it starts on time, you will be out on time. And like I said, it goes by in a flash.
It's important for your mental health. So many parents working remotely, teaching their kids remotely. Take a little bit of time for yourself, your mental health, get back in shape. Thank you so much for being with us on the Megacast, and we wish you continued success, and we hope the reopening goes well, and we do not have another pandemic, a surge in the fall, and your doors remain open.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. So many great businesses here in Oakland County and Metro Detroit and they're small business owners, and we need to find ways to support them so that, like she said, the doors remain open, we see so many of the smaller businesses starting to close around us as this virus continues to keep a hold on our, our society as well as the economy. So we're wishing everyone to stay strong as we continue to navigate COVID-19 and all things pandemic related.
Yeah, it's still a tough road ahead for a lot of these small businesses, especially the ones that are just reopening now. So whatever we can do to do our part in helping them out as they get back into the regular swing of things from a community standpoint, we should be doing what we can.
So we're going to take a quick break here on the Oakland County Megacast, and when we come back, schools, Avondale Schools, they reopened their doors. How are things going?
Michigan, we're calling on you to save lives. Don't ignore it. Don't let it go to voicemail. It's urgent. In fact, it's critical. Because if you've been in close contact with someone who tests positive for COVID-19, you may have been exposed to the virus. And you could get a call from My COVID Help or your local health department. So please answer the call to learn how to protect yourself, your family, and friends. We're calling on you to stop the spread of COVID-19, to make it safe to reopen businesses and help Michigan move forward. So if you get a call from My COVID Help or your local health department, you may have been exposed to someone with COVID-19. To protect us all, answer the call. Learn more at michigan.gov/containcovid. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonae Khaldun. I'm the Chief Medical Executive for the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The people who are at highest risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19 are the elderly and those with chronic medical conditions. That includes people with heart disease, diabetes, COPD, or those who have compromised immune systems. People who are in those categories should right now be staying at home as much as possible and not going out if it is not essential. If you fit into one of those categories, those are the things you should do. And if you have a family member who fits into one of those categories, you should be checking in on them and making sure they are following those guidelines. There's something everyone can do to protect the community from COVID-19.
It's back to school time throughout Metro Detroit and across the state of Michigan, but back to school looks a lot different this year. Joining us now on the Oakland County Megacast, Dr. James Schwartz, Superintendent of Avondale Schools. Thank you for being with us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
So I understand you guys went back September 1st, right? How are things going so far?
We did. Really good. Actually exceeding expectations. We've been very diligent in getting devices out to families that need them, getting students logged in, getting their schedules out to students. They're following protocols very similar as if they would be if they were in seat. So quite a bit different from the spring remote teaching. We were pretty much in a state of emergency at that point, and this remote teaching certainly is I'll say a lot more robust and certainly closer to mimicking the in-seat day as much as possible. So it's been going quite well.
Dr. Schwartz, you had said previously that school was going to be fully in person, with some people that have taken the liberty to do their learning remotely. Was that still the case? Is that how Avondale Schools is currently operating, or did that change since we last spoke?
Correct. No, we are currently all remote teaching, so it is 100% online at this juncture. We are looking to, actually I say we're planning on reinstating in-seat instruction. We're targeting right now after the 10-week mark, which puts us roughly after the first week of November. And at that point, we'd be looking at some type of a phase-in period, call it a hybrid period for a couple of weeks, and then, bringing students back on a graduated incrementation at that point. And that's pending, of course, what the state of COVID is, moving forward over these next several weeks. What the county health data shows us in terms of spikes. We'll be curious to see what effects, of course, this Labor Day weekend will have on any spikes in COVID cases moving forward. So we'll be taking the temperature, so to speak, of kind of using those statistics and then also gauging interest and where people are in terms of their confidence level through surveys and such with parents, staff, as we get into October leading into November. So that's our current, in a nutshell, planning as we're moving here.
Dr. Schwartz, one of the things that we've experienced here on the Megacast, technical difficulties getting connected, or I know that in some places throughout Oakland County, we had storms roll through last night, maybe their power is out. How does that impact the students if they can't log on or if they're having issues with logging on because attendance is being taken right now, correct?
That is correct. Yep. So there are protocols, if there is a difficulty with logging in, there are folks to call to notify that that's the case. So we have, call it an online support center, where folks can call in and indicate that, they're having difficulty logging in or they've lost their passwords or whatever the case may be. And we have folks on hand that will assist in those matters. And of course, we understand that these call it acts of God will happen in terms of power outages and things of that nature. So we're not letting that negatively affect pupil attendance or being punitive with those types of situations.
IT tech people right now, the true superheroes during this pandemic. They need some capes to continue to keep us online. How are you helping parents who have been unable to secure childcare and yet they have to work?
So we've expanded on our childcare opportunities here in the district. So our current childcare program is probably now 4 or 5 times the size as what it normally has been. So we've increased staffing to accommodate childcare needs. So folks can certainly enlist in our childcare programs that span the course of the day. Previously childcare was before school and after school. Now our childcare extends throughout the workday for folks. So, and we've also adjusted the rates to make them affordable, so that families can utilize our childcare at a very reasonable cost. And many folks are taking us up on that opportunity.
Dr. James Schwartz with us. He is the superintendent of Avondale Schools, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. And Dr. Schwartz, last week the MHSAA made a reversal of its previous decision from August to suspend some high school sports such as football and delay decisions on other remaining fall sports. Will Avondale, with that change of heart coming from the MHSAA, be participating in fall sports, and how is that going to look in the Avondale School District?
Mm-hmm. So we are one of the districts that are abiding by the MHSAA regulations. So we are following their protocols as they exist for sports. So, I know, frankly, the MHSAA and the governor have had kind of a stare down as to, who's calling the punches and making the decisions relative to sports. And, and so that ball has bounced back and forth where primarily with football, where it's been canceled, it's been moved to spring, now it's back to fall. So this has been an interplay that's been going on between the governor and MHSAA now for the past 6 weeks or so. And we are following those MHSAA guidelines and following those strict social distancing and mask protocols, as we think it's important, particularly for students that are on screens most of the day. They need to get out. They need to get away from those computers. They need that activity. And if we can provide those activities in a safe, small group socially distanced, masked environment, we want to be able to offer that to our students, as well as clubs and those types of things after school. I mean, we think it's important that they have that outlet for activity and for socialization. And so, our motives are to continue following the MHSAA and being a participant with those regulations and those sports throughout the fall.
So speaking of sports, one of the things, a friend of mine, her son has a gym class, but it's virtual. Are you offering gym virtually, and what does that look like?
So right now we are offering physical education virtually, and a lot of that is done through video, where the instructor will showcase whether it's conditioning techniques, which is mostly the case in an online environment, where students are exercising, they're tracking their exercise, they're reporting back to the instructor, reporting back to the class. The instructor provides real-time instruction, as well as videoed instruction. Certainly it's not, it takes a back seat to actually being in a phys ed class, but under the circumstances, we have folks that are engaged in exercise and staying active as a result. And, we've offered physical education as an online option in the summertime for years, pre-COVID, that students have taken to be able to free up their high school schedule to allow for more electives and so on. So we've been operating in an online PE environment for some time, just not during the school year. This is the first that we're actually doing it during the school year. It's, again, takes a back seat to the being in the gym and the actual class, but nonetheless, it is one that follows the state standards, keeps kids active, keeps them exercising, and displays proper techniques.
So I guess kickball is going to be out of the question then. You can't virtually play kickball.
Yeah, it's really not team sports in PE, not so much. It's more about exercise, personal conditioning. It's about personal wellness. They intermix also proper nutritional habits. So they intersperse some of that in there. So it's really more about personal exercise than it is team sports. So to your point, that is a change when you're looking at a PE or online PE environment.
So I know that looking at your social media page, it appears as the teachers are back in the classroom teaching from their classrooms, and then you have staff members back in the school building. How concerned are you about getting a positive test? And if you get one, what is the plan in place to try to address that?
So we've highly recommended that our staff be on site during this fall remote period, because they can take advantage of being with their colleagues, again, in a socially distanced environment where they can collaborate on lesson planning. They can collaborate on making videos together. There's a true power of being able to collaborate, particularly in situations where not everybody is so tech savvy, sharing tools, those types of things. So we believe it to be extremely beneficial for the teachers to be on site, to be working together. And as far as being fearful of COVID, that concern's there. It's a part of our reality. We all live with it, and it is something that, again, as we're following proper protocols, we're trying to minimize, obviously, the risks. But should somebody come down with a COVID case, we're following closely the Oakland County Health Department's protocols for how we deal with those. They deal with the contact tracing, and we have the X number of days that folks are out. We're following those protocols to a T. So COVID is going to happen. I think we're fooling ourselves if anybody thinks that COVID is not going to be in their school district. It is. It's our reality, and we have protocols to deal with that in a way that least disrupts the educational environment and the students that are participating in that environment.
Dr. James Schwartz joining us. He is the superintendent of Avondale Schools with us today on the Oakland County Megacast. And so we're still 10 weeks away from when there would at earliest be students in the classroom again at Avondale. Are plans in place already in the school district, or are they at least in the works as we approach that 10-week period for how to properly bring your students back safely and put guidelines in place in the event of potential outbreaks, which, as you said, are more than likely inevitable given the spread of COVID-19?
Sure. This has been a conversation piece since June, frankly, in terms of what in-seat instruction looks like. We were initially planning on being in seat until about mid-July, when the tables kind of turned and the COVID data was not going in the direction to really support in-seat. And so us, as well as a lot of our neighboring districts, decided to go remote. But certainly prior to that decision, we were in the beginning stages of working toward an in-seat model. And that continues. We continue to refine our plans for what in-seat looks like. We have folks across the district that are actively involved in that conversation. So when that time comes around, we will be enacting on those plans. That we are looking to have a gradual phase in, as I mentioned earlier, of getting into a sort of a hybrid where we're introducing students back to school. It's not going to be like flicking a light switch where all of a sudden, it's Monday morning and everybody's back and we're trying to operate as normal, like pre-COVID. It's going to be more of a gradual hybrid for a couple of weeks to get us to that point where we're instructing students on proper social distancing, on mask wearing, on what all the protocols in terms of how we walk the hallways, directionality in the hallways. So there's time that we're going to be spending with students incrementally in coming in over I'll call it a transition period that will span a couple of weeks before we're back in with a full student body again. And I do suspect that we'll be phasing in the different levels of school, so elementary, perhaps middle, and high school differently. So that we'll be prioritizing elementary first and then moving into high school. And high school could potentially be toward January as we move on that continuum.
So many plans to put in place for so many different scenarios. Superintendent, I know the state of Michigan recently announced that it is going to start listing schools that have outbreaks and naming them on its data page on the state website. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, my initial thoughts are, what's the purpose? I mean, I don't know. I mean, is it purely from an informing standpoint, or is there some ulterior motive in terms of why? I guess I question as to what the overall purpose is. I don't really understand, or have been given the purpose of that. But it's, again, COVID is everywhere, and it's going to affect pretty much every district in the state, I would imagine, at some point. So, we're all struggling with it. If they're going to use the information to rank us or somehow, make us sound less desirable. I mean, you never know what the motives are, but, it's something that we're all struggling with. From an informational standpoint, do I think it's good from an informational standpoint? Yep. But if it's put to any kind of a degradation of districts or degradation of public schools or whatever, then I guess I have issue with that.
So many things, just wait and see how they play out, right? So just a minute or two left here with you. I guess I have to ask, are snow days a thing of the past now?
They could be. They could be. That really depends on how the usage of your student computers go. So if you have the luxury as a school district to have one-to-one, where each student has their own personal device, then the notion of no snow days is more of a reality than districts that don't have that luxury yet of being able to furnish every student with a computer. We fortunately will be at a one-to-one ratio of computers to students, within the next several weeks. We've got our final order in for our last shipment of computers, which will put us at a device for every child. So that, conceivably, you could say for those districts that have one-to-one technology, that snow days could be a thing of the past.
Dr. Schwartz, with the superintendent of Avondale Schools, so great having you here with us on the Megacast. About 30 seconds left. Anything you want our listeners and viewers to know before we let you go?
No, other than, we're all working as hard as we can and trying to navigate, again, uncharted territory. And so we appreciate folks' patience. You had talked about earlier with tech issues and, those initial startup hiccups that we have getting into the school year, primarily around technology. So we appreciate folks understanding the positions that we're all in. We're all making sacrifices for, within this situation. None of us wanted this COVID experience. None of us wanted to be remote. But this is our reality. And so, again, we do appreciate folks understanding that and folks rolling with those punches, being patient, and working with us as we troubleshoot to make this collectively the best experience we can for students.
And Dr. Schwartz, we appreciate all the work you and your team have been doing. Go Mustangs. That's going to wrap it up here for us on the Oakland County Megacast on this rainy Tuesday. I'm Ronnie Dahl along with Tyler Keith, and this is the Oakland County Megacast.